So the next tool I want to talk about is Nikto. Nikto is a free web application security scanner. It comes pre-installed on most penetration testing distributions. Should be available in Kali and Parrot OS as sort of base install. You should just get it on there. And what it will do is it will scan a specified target and look for weaknesses. It will look for out-of-date software. It will check the response headers coming back from the server to make sure there's no funkiness going on. It will look at the robots.txt file to see if there's any sort of secret information in there, because a lot of the time what developers will do is they will say they will tell the robots.txt file to tell the search engine indexing bots not to index the login URL for the administrator, so that could potentially have juicy information. Yeah, as you can see there, it's also finding out-of-date software with regards to Apache. It's finding what HTTP methods are allowed, and again this could be quite dangerous if you've got HTTP methods for things like put and delete on there. Put can allow you to upload things to the server, and delete can allow you to remove things from the server. I think trace can be considered quite a dangerous one as well, because it traces the path back from the application. So if you've sent a request to an application and it has to go through like a load balancer and things like that, when the information comes back, it can potentially reveal the path it took to get to the application. I'm not too sure on that. Again, it's something I'm still sort of working out myself. Web application isn't my strongest point, but yeah, you can see their track method is suggesting the host is vulnerable to XST, and you can see it's found PHP my admin. Now again, I've just ran this against Metasploitable 2, and on there's an application in one of the subdirectories. If you just head to the IP address in your browser, you'll see links for things like Damn Vulnerable Web App. I was hoping Juice Shop would be installed on it, but it isn't. But yeah, we've checked this one, and you can see there it's done a directory. It's found a directory traversal for Etsy Pass WD, but it will go through and it will find potential vulnerabilities in the web application itself. Now, I wouldn't say Nikto is the be-all and end-all of web application security. You should still go through and verify everything that is found manually, and in a lot of cases it won't find everything that the application is potentially vulnerable to. Again, it's an automated script. You still need a human to go through and test things like input boxes for like business logic vulnerabilities and XSS, and if you see like an XSS payload is being encoded in the responses, and then you can like view the source code of that to see which sort of tags are encapsulating it. You know, there's only so much an automated scanner can do. There's still a massive human element that's needed for performing web application security tests. It's not like firing a Nessus scan at a service and seeing that, oh, it's out of date, you can hack into it, you know, or it's using weak credentials. There's a lot more sort of logic and reasoning to web application security scans that an automated web application security scanner won't find. But Nikto is great. It's a great place to start, and it can give you an insight as to what testing the application is going to be like. If you run Nikto against it and you find lots of vulnerabilities through Nikto, chances are there's going to be even more when you start testing it manually. So it's a good sort of kicking off point. Now, with that said, you should be careful running Nikto, because I have encountered moments where I've run Nikto against a web application and it started to become a bit sluggish or unresponsive. Granted, the sort of hardware that their web application was hosted on definitely wasn't fit for purpose, and you know, we definitely shouldn't be scanning stuff that's gonna fall over if you give it a little nudge. You know, we have to take those things into consideration though, and if the application starts becoming unresponsive, then you have to stop your scans and approach it from a more gentle perspective, going a bit easier. But yeah, Nikto is a great place to start. I will say though as well, in addition to it being quite a heavy scan sometimes and affecting a web application, it can be prone to false positives, especially when web application firewalls are in place. Now, sometimes it's great, it detects there's a web application firewall in place and it will just do what it needs to and report back what it needs to. But in some cases, I've seen some really interesting behavior whereby every directory it tries to hit is reported back as a 200 okay, like a 200 response saying, yeah, it exists, and it's like sort of checking all these files like shell.php, reverse shell.php, malware.php, and it's like, yeah, they all exist on this server. But what it is actually the web application firewall messing about with Nikto. It's probably recognized, or it's probably got patterns built into the WAF that know Nikto, and it's like, right, you know, let's just annoy the hackers and send them chasing their tails for a bit. But yeah, it's a good tool. It's a good introductory tool, not introductory tool, but a good start. You know, you run Nikto at the URL, very much just like an automated script. It's not gonna sort of hack a website for you, but it's a good idea. It's a good sort of scan to get an idea of how the web application is configured.